It is Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. This is another edition of Baseball Today. Pete Moylan filling in for Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. It's all presented to you by our friends over at Shady Rays, the best shades in the business. Not only do they make you look great, but when you break them or you lose them, which is inevitable in the sunglass game, they will replace them, which is very cool. Pete Moylan, I hope you are doing well. Listen, this is a comfort zone for a lot of us. It's a lot of fun. I don't know how you're doing. Yesterday was a shitty day in this country.
Horrible.
Again.
Yeah.
Horrible. I'm 51 years old and I'm at a loss, man. I'm at a loss.
I didn't grow up in this country and I still don't understand. I don't get it. And you know what? It's crazy thing was, man, I had to go to an award ceremony for my kid today at her school. And the story is that was what happened the day that the shooting happened, is that all the parents were at the school the morning of because of award ceremonies, and it just crushed me, man. Sucks.
Right. And I know that a lot of you, wherever you're joining us, whether it's on our regular podcast form or YouTube or on the AMP app live with us, are saying, well, wait, this isn't what I came for. I get it. But, we're all human beings. We're fathers, we're husbands, first and foremost. We love what we do. We are thankful we get to do what we do for a living. But at the same time, I'm just at an emotional loss. I am. And I wish I love being able to have a lot of answers in this world. I don't have them. 99.99% of the people that walk around this country are wonderful human beings. Rest of it, I don't know. I don't know where we go. I don't know what we do because I have so little faith in leadership, unfortunately. So with that being said, we will talk about baseball. This is what we do. It's what we get paid to do.
Let's go.
It's what brings us joy. And we had one of the amazing games of the season last night out in San Francisco. For those of you that fell asleep, you missed a good one.
Oh, man.
Giants blew an 8-2 lead. Mets came back to take an 11-8 lead. Jock Peterson hit his third homer of the game to tie it at 11. Mets took a 12-11 lead. Giants ended up winning it 13-12.
Yes.
On a walk-off. How much of it did you tune into?
So I was just looking at the box scores and I saw Rogers' line and I saw 7 hits, 7 runs. And I'm like, he got 1 out. I'm like, how is he? And somebody told me that he just got so many infield hits and knocks that they were just literally inches away from a double play after every pitch. So they just kept him out there. And then I turned the game on and it was just like, I felt like the last 3 innings was about 37 pitches. It just was action after. It was unbelievable, Rosie. It was one of the better games that I've watched in a long time, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't. So I had turned it off after it was 8-2. Like I went to go just do something else in my life. And then I checked my phone and it was 11-8. I was like, what just transpired here?
Yeah.
Like it just didn't make any sense. And then I didn't keep watching it. I was like, I'll just, I was like, okay, well, the Mets are going to come back. And now I have to change the rundown of this show of Baseball Today, because now I have to talk about, was this a bigger win for the New York Mets and their magic, or was it more devastating to the San Francisco Giants, who have now lost 6 in a row?
Right.
And then Jock hits another homer. And I was like, okay, now I think I have to watch it from here on out.
Yeah.
So I did. And it was just tremendous. It was tremendous.
Even the line drive that Jock hit up the middle of Diaz when he on a backdoor slider was a missile. Like Jock was locked in, and he said that he was talking to Barry Bonds, and he said that Barry Bonds was talking to him about hitting, and he just got in the zone. And I'm like, man, that's something was happening in San Francisco last night. That was weird.
Did you get a chance to talk to Jock very much last year when he was with the Braves, or no?
You know what? I was media, and we didn't know each other before, so we exchanged hellos, but that was basically it. It was, and he's a personality. He's the lightning rod. It's the one way I can describe him. Like he's just got energy around him that's different, if that makes sense.
He's a goofball.
Sure, but it's more than that.
He's a big kid. What do you think he is?
I don't know. I think he's a superstar. I do. I think he has nights like that multiple times a year. And I know it may not be consistent, but just the energy that those kind of nights bring. It's really cool.
It's just the third 3-homer game in the history of that ballpark.
Because it's a hard hit home run there.
Right. Care to venture a guess who have the other two?
Barry Bonds, Pablo Sandoval.
You got one of them.
Did I?
Pablo Sandoval in game 1 of the 2012 World Series against the Tigers.
Okay.
Kevin Elster for the Dodgers, I think. Had a 3-homer game in that park. Remember the shortstop?
What year are we talking?
Probably 21 years ago or so, or something like that.
I'm old,
something
but
like
my baseball history sort of started when I got over here in 2006. So
yeah,
I've tried to learn as much as I can, but I was in Australia. Right. So
big picture here, though, so if you lose a game 12-11, that happens. Whatever. It's weird. It's wild. But if you lead a game 8-2 going into the 7th, and you lose that, the Giants had that happen to them for a 6th straight loss when the Dodgers and the Padres are playing very good ball in front of you. Like, that's one of those games. It could be a season turner, could it not?
For sure. Yeah, I think, it's losing something like that could have really been crushing. But on the flip side, when you win something like that, I think the momentum can grow, but I think today becomes really important, because if you don't win today, I feel like it's just a waste. I think you got to really carry the momentum into today and try and build off it. Otherwise, as I said, it can still be crushing if you can't come back and win today.
Yep. All right, let's move on to a team that just keeps winning. That would be the Minnesota Twins. They have won 6 straight games, 9 of 11. They have the second largest division lead in all of baseball. At this point now, 7-ish, almost 7 weeks into the season, what is your one question still about this team?
Okay, so we talked about them on Monday, right? And I said that I still haven't bought in because they haven't done anything in playoffs and all the rest of it. But I wish I was more of an expert, but I went and dived into their roster and I had a look. And I really like their lineup. It's a young, exciting lineup, led by Byron Buxton, obviously. The only guy with 6 years is Carlos Correa. Everybody else has got less than that. Then you go to the flip side of the starting rotation, and they've got veteranos galore at the back end, which is really important, obviously, down the stretch and going into the playoffs. I think if they can add something at the trade deadline, I don't know that they're not actually the best chance to maybe win past the first round of the playoffs that I've seen in a few years.
Really?
Yeah.
You like this team that
in their division right now too?
Yes, because we all feel like at some point Chicago's going to turn it around. Although last night's game was a mess with a guy on the mound in Dylan Cease who has really pitched his ass off this year. So, but for me, there's 2 questions, and it really has to do with the pitching, both the starting rotation and the bullpen. So it's one each. One is, can guys who have been injured throughout their career, and I'm talking about Chris Archer, Dylan Bundy, and Sonny Gray to some degree, can they stay healthy? Because there's not a lot of rotational depth there, because if they've already lost Paddock for the year. So if they suffer another injury, do they have a guy that can come up and compete every 5 days? Or do they have to go out and say, you know what? We knew going into this season with Carlos Correa, we were going to give it a shot, but we don't know where we're going to be. But now they're almost 2 months into this thing, and they're like, okay, we're better than we thought. And Chicago is worse than we thought.
Yeah.
So we got to go. And
Put on the gas.
We're going to step on the accelerator and try and get somebody who can help them out. So can they fortify that rotation? Because I'm not so sure all those guys can make it through the year. The other question is their bullpen.
Yeah.
So they've got a bunch of veteran guys down there. Like Joe Smith has been sensational, just unbelievable in his role. They traded Rogers, who has been great in San Diego, and they got back Emilio Pagan, whose numbers are good, but at any second, you feel like you could give multi-home runs in an inning and lose it, right?
But you can say that way about any young bullpen arm.
Well, but he's not a young guy. He's been doing this forever. He's bounced around from Oakland to Tampa to San Diego to hear there's
He's
been
got 4
times where
years. He's still relatively young when you say he's only got 4 years of service time. It's not. He might have bounced around,
but he's been in big sit. To me, you can be only around 4 years, but have pitched in big situations.
Sure. No, I understand that. That is the question for me too, is their bullpen. But again, at the trade deadline, there's a ton of teams out there with big arms that aren't doing anything that are going to be available. It's going to be a free-for-all, I really think, at this trade deadline, because there's a ton of teams that are going to be in it. And they've got 12 teams can make the playoffs now. So I think it's going to be really exciting, and I think they're going to add. And I think you're right. They have to put the foot on the gas now because of what the division's doing.
And by the way, that's how they build their rotation. They build it through trades, right? Yeah. Sonny Gray, trade or free agent signing. Bundy's come from elsewhere. Archer's come from elsewhere. Joe Ryan has come from elsewhere. So this is what they do. They don't, it's not a lot of homegrown stuff. So we'll see. LA Dodgers continue to just whoop up on the Nationals. They take it to their former prospect, Josiah Gray. Mookie Betts, another huge night, multi-homer game, NL best 12 homers. And this is, I think he didn't have any until like April 22nd or something like that.
Yeah.
He's had a ridiculous month of May. When everybody is healthy in the National League. So I'm talking about Tatis and Acuna, even though he's back, he hasn't been healthy.
Yeah.
With everybody available in the National League positional player pool, how many guys are you taking ahead of Mookie Betts right now for this year?
Right now, the way that I don't think there's anyone that I'm taking before Mookie, honestly. He's as good as it gets. I got to see, especially now that I think he's healthy. I think he's finally healthy again. I think he's got enough at bats that he's feeling himself a little bit now too, because I mean, he's been dealing with whatever it's been, but I witnessed him against the Bravos in 2020 in that playoff series. And he single-handedly basically won he was unbelievable. He's making catches. He's throwing guys out. Like he's hitting, he was everything that you'd expect from Mookie Betts. And it was so impressive to see. I've seen it with Acuna as well, but he's still trying to find himself. But I'd have to say Mookie would be my number one draft pick right now.
Tatis guy, huge. Like when he's healthy, he's just such a difference maker.
Yeah.
But Betts, it's so interesting. He is a superstar without, I don't know if I'm saying this the right way. To me, he doesn't have, like Tatis, it jumps off the screen. Acuna, it jumps off the screen when I see it.
Flash?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't feel, and I feel like he's so much better than his numbers even.
Right. He just does it. I think he does it cleaner. I think that's it. I think it's like a Roger Federer style tennis versus a, it's a rather than a Kyrgios or, it's an Andre Agassi. I think he's just polished in the way that he goes about everything. It just does it so smooth. Whereas the other guys are they're all out and they're, it's nothing wrong with it, obviously, but it's I can say there's balls to the wall.
It's interesting because with some of the other guys that you'll talk about, Acuna, sometimes it feels like he doesn't have a great feel of the strike zone. Tatis defensively doesn't make routine plays, right? At shortstop, he'll have an air streak just cost the Padres here and there.
Right.
Mookie Betts does everything exceptionally well on an everyday basis.
Yeah. I think that's
what he just does. He just is so good.
Yeah.
And he's another one of those guys. We talked about it with Goldschmidt yesterday. We talk about it as ad nauseum with Trout, that you just kind of get lulled to sleep with their game a little bit. and it also never looks like he's running fast, but he's running faster than everyone.
Yeah. Yep. That's what they do. That's what the best do. They make it look so simple. And the rest of us are out there just especially, I mean, this is what I said yesterday. You can tell when guys are different, right? And I was a middle reliever that got a chance to get a couple of holds, and I got 3 saves in my life. I was amongst the best athletes in the world, and I realized that I wasn't one of them, but I got to play with them on the same field. I just wasn't at their level. And I understood that. It's fine. but there is greatness, and I can recognize that.
Who was the best player? Who was the guy that you either played against or played with that made it look so simple? Where you're like, it's not that easy, dude.
Chipper at the plate. Even I caught him late, and I caught him through 2006 when he won the batting title in 2008. He made hitting look like it was like as simple as thing in the world. Left-handed, right-handed, sweet swing. Freddie Freeman, the way that he can put bat to ball was
right
as good as anyone. I mean, there's just been Craig Kimbrell coming in and closing games, thinking that he's Brad Maddux, but actually just blowing people away like crazy.
Yeah.
There's been so many good things that I've seen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That ain't bad. Boston continues to be on a roll as the Red Sox crush the White Sox.
Told you.
They've won 6 in a row. Yeah, you did tell me. It's interesting, though, right?
Yeah.
Big picture, they are still sub 500 because
Sure.
of a terrible start. They are still 4th place in the East. But right now, if you were to rank the teams in that division in terms of confidence you have in them moving forward from May 25th on, where are the Red Sox?
That's such a good question, because the Yankees are obviously leading the world in wins, but they're not exactly playing with their best right now. They're not playing the baseball that they'd like to be playing. I'm sure Dan would agree with that. But the Red Sox right now are on some sort of roll. And one of the questions we were going to ask was that, can a win like yesterday turn a season around with the Giants, right? I was going to say that it needs to be more of a 9-1 10-game span that you get on, and that can really turn the season around and get you really rolling. That's what I think the Red Sox are about to do. And I think they're about to take off. So, but I still have faith in the Yankees. I still have faith in the Blue Jays for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's going to be one hell of a division race again.
So you're avoiding the question entirely.
Absolutely. I'm avoiding it entirely because I think the Red Sox are going to be really good. I think if I'd probably put my faith in the Blue Jays just because of the youth. I don't know, man. It's going to be.
So the Blue Jays.
I'm not answering that.
You're not. Okay, Plouffe. So here's the problem I've got. You know who my preseason World Series winner was?
Nope.
The Toronto Blue Jays. Thanks for
Right.
caring. I believe that with the addition of Gosman, even though they had lost Robbie Ray and even though they had lost Marcus Semien, that they had matured enough as a team and a lineup and an organization, and they had been through so much last year,
Sure.
where they had home games in Dunedin, Florida,
Yep.
Buffalo, New York, and Toronto, Canada, and still almost made the playoffs. And I was like, if they could get through a season where the entire team essentially gets traded twice, then they can handle this. And can you imagine how electric that atmosphere is going to be in that dome when essentially they've gone 2 years without significant baseball? Like, that place is going to be jumping.
All makes sense.
They got off to a great start, and now they're just kind of trudging along.
Right.
And
a lot of teams are.
I know. And I know we're only a quarter of the way through the season, but I watch a lot of Blue Jays baseball because I'm fascinated by them. I think they're really a must watch almost every night, good or bad for the result. They had times where their starting pitching has not delivered. They've had times where that bullpen has gone to shit. And they've had times where they're in big time at bats, their big boys have not delivered enough. And I can't figure out if it's just a little stretch that they've gone through or if they're really just not as good as I thought.
Right.
So I would put New York and Tampa definitely ahead of the Red Sox, but maybe I was just dead wrong on the Blue Jays to start.
I think we're seeing. Look, the same can be said with the Braves. It's been a disappointing start because of what you expected from the teams, but that's not to say that they can't figure it out real quick and turn it around. Especially with Toronto, that team, as you said, they went through so much shit last year. I, as a big leaguer, would have been frustrated the whole time. That's not the big leagues. That's not what the big leagues is supposed to be. So for them to have to deal with that and still do what they did is phenomenal. I think those can still come back and make that a race. And I think this is why I'm non-committed, because there's 4 teams that could potentially go off.
Well, we had 4 teams that won more than 90 games, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in one division. That's remarkable. So I'm going to put your feet to the fire before we move on.
Excellent.
Who will win that division?
Yankees company, Yankees.
Okay. Who finishes second?
You're an asshole. Blue Jays.
Okay. Who finishes third?
Rays.
Okay.
And they're all going to have 90 wins.
So even though the Red Sox are on this tremendous run and we're like, wow, they're back, we both have them exactly where they are right now in fourth place.
But it can go one of it. I'm just ranking them because you forced me to. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm ranking them. That's what I feel right now. But anything can happen in the next 2 weeks.
Of course, anything can happen.
I want to see how this run ends for the Red Sox. If they go,
by the way,
Rosie, the Dodgers went 42-8 over a 50-game span in 2013 when I was there when they got Puig, right? If the Red Sox do something like that over the next 50 fucking games, then I'm going to back the Red Sox.
Okay. See, but if I ask the question 2 weeks from now,
if you asked it 2 weeks ago, I would have said no chance.
Right, but you're not going to want to answer it.
Yes, I will.
What if they go 12-0 over the next 2 weeks?
I mean,
you'll have you're in.
Any team goes 12-0 at any point over the season, something's gone right.
Okay.
You got to win that many games in a row, Rosie, and not blow it on any kind of shitty leadoff walk, chink hits, errors, not to blow a game 12 in a row. Something special's going on.
Do you know that the Red Sox could go 12-0 in their next 12 games and still be in like third place?
Probably.
I just want to let you know that that's a possibility.
Okay, man, you're so smart.
So last night, the Yankees had a walk-off win. We thought maybe Aaron Judge hit another one out. And did you see who was sitting there in the front row in his Ranger sweater? None other than our told you as Judge flew out barely to the warning track in right field.
If Michael Kay can get confused, if most announcers this year have at least got confused once, I'm going to let our Lord and Savior off on this one and not give him too much shit.
I might just text him and can we make that a meme? I mean, Dan, do we have the ability to? That's got to be something at our company. It hasn't already been made.
I'm sure it's already everywhere.
Maybe sell that on T-shirts or something. It's just a thought. It is great though. Look at him, full beer in hand, Ranger sweater, hat backward. It's so glorious. I showed that to my wife last night because she hasn't met Jake yet.
No way.
When everybody comes out for the All-Star game, you'll get to meet the entire Rose family. That's worthwhile unto itself. But I mean, that is great. Jake the best part is he doesn't even look. He just saw the swing and he looks to the left. He doesn't look to the right.
He could hear it. He's one of those guys, like Trouble with the Curve. He could hear the sound of the bat. He doesn't even need to see it. He's that good, apparently.
All right, before we get out of here, what do you have coming up on John Boy Media? You're back here tomorrow?
Back here tomorrow and Friday.
Okay. And Friday.
Talking baseball on Friday.
Good. It's a busy week for you.
Busy week for me. And then I'm on the road next week, Arizona, Colorado. Can't wait.
Now that'll be fun for you. We'll be listening.
Awesome.
We'll be listening. I taped Austin Hedges yesterday. He's hilarious. He might not replace Johnny Bench or Pudge Rodriguez when it comes to hitting catchers anytime in the near future. But he's fucking funny, dude. He tells an amazing Miguel Cabrera story from what just happened in Cleveland with their series. He was front and center the night that Josh Naylor went crazy in Chicago and fired the helmet. And the way Hedges tells the story is so funny.
Can't wait.
Yeah, he's just a great story. And he's the guy now, you'll appreciate this. He is the veteran on the bus that makes the rookies do everything.
Good.
You know how they've got to.
Sure.
So he's got all the entertaining skits
Good
that he talks about. Yep. It's very, very good. Apparently, there's one Cleveland rookie who is exceptionally talented when it comes to keeping the troops entertained.
I guarantee I know who it is. Oh, a current rookie?
Current rookie.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not going to know who it is.
Okay.
If you even knew who he was, I'd be shocked. You
Okay.
really have to kind of do a deep dive on Cleveland Guardians baseball to have an idea.
Okay.
He's a wonderful storyteller. So that's coming out tomorrow. We're very excited. For our outstanding producer, Dan Rourke, who went full sleeves today instead of going sleeveless, and the one and only Pete Moylan. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Thursday on Baseball Today, presented to you by Shady Rays.